A gleaming new cycle lane, one in the long line of tracks for those on two wheels that have been springing up across Norwich. You're bound to have seen the months of work to install them. You might know that more than £16 million have been spent on them, with most of it coming from the government. But the key question is, are you using them?
No, a lot of people still actually use the road.
You get so used to doing certain routes and not really paying attention to anything new that sometimes you do miss things. So I mean, maybe now you've pointed it out, I might start using it.
Did you know that this one here is a cycle lane?
I did, yeah. And I think it is completely pointless.
Why?
Because it starts at the end of the Maid's Head Hotel and it finishes here, and you have to come out onto traffic, which is dangerous.
There has been some frustration about scenes like this, cyclists shunning their new paths and sticking to the now narrower roads alongside the traffic. But city councillors message to drivers, get used to it, because there's no law to say cyclists have to use their new facilities.
Drivers have got to understand the law. The law says the cyclists are allowed on the road. That's one simple thing. I often see cyclists and I say, why aren't you using the cycle path? It's just there. So I do that myself. It's a simple question of getting used to it. I mean, quite honestly, you go across to Holland and you just got to understand that everybody, pedestrians, cyclists, car drivers, vehicle drivers, everyone's used to it. Things have got to change in Britain. Things are changing in Norwich. We'll all get used to it.
And on Gurney Road, it's taking quite a bit of getting used to. Lots of the cyclists weaving their way through picturesque Mousehold aren't using their new pedalway. For some rush hour drivers, that's an annoyance. But Councillor Bremner hasn't got much sympathy.
Gurney Road was dangerous. I know it very well. I used to be a Mousehold councillor, and that used to be a brilliant little racetrack for vehicles racing through at 40 miles an hour. They've got to go through at 20. Get used to travelling at 20 through that lovely section of Mousehold, as they should anyway. It's a place for enjoyment, for leisure, for cyclists, for pedestrians, for people to enjoy Mousehold. So if you're racing through Gurney Road, why?
Earlier this year, one county councillor mooted the idea of a law change that would mean cyclists had to use the new lanes. Opponents laughed it off, saying speedier pro-cyclists had to use the road to keep the slower ones safe. The idea of those on 2 and 4 wheels ever navigating Norwich in perfect harmony might be a bit far-fetched. But those behind the city's cycling revolution admit there is more work to do to properly gear people up for it. Rob Setchell, Mustard TV, Norwich.